Hey, good morning guys. Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. I hope this video finds you well, whether it's morning, afternoon or night for you. But it's morning for me. It's approximately 7 a.m. Just had a quick look through on the phone and noticed a question that it's certainly been covered before, but let's just quickly do it again. And you know, when I say quickly comes with the detail, information, and enough information that you can go, yep, that makes sense, instead of just a load of rubbish, which is what you'll find elsewhere. So if you like the genuine, authentic, factual information, please remember to subscribe to these two channels. We're on the automotive channel now, but we've also got a touring channel. It's got a lot of vehicle use information, if you like, how to use your 4x4, and information to do with tracks and touring, mainly in Australia, but a lot of handy vehicle information as well. If I see it more of a touring side than the automotive side, then it goes on that channel. Now, this is to do with EGRs. EGR, you know, the question was, and I've seen it before, I've had it before, and we've got a heap of videos on this subject, but I understand that there's newer people that come along and they haven't seen those videos. But my point is, just because you're new doesn't mean those videos are gone. You don't only subscribe and turn the bell on to make sure you're notified of the next important and maybe even more important videos, important information coming your way. You should go back and have a look. And if you see a subject that interests you, have a search EGR. I'll give you another little tip as well. If you have a look on my YouTube channel, you can also check playlists. Okay, so I've got playlists there. Some are public, some are unlisted, some are private, but you can see the public ones. Hopefully I didn't accidentally put some of the ones that are meant to be private public. No, just trying to get you excited and might get you to go there, because what I've done is I've spent the time not only to make the videos, but then later to go through and find all the EGR videos and put them into a playlist. So you just go to EGR, whatever information playlist, press play, and it's going to play you 10, 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 videos on EGR. Then you won't have any questions, because the problem we got at the moment is the questions I'm about to answer to do with EGR cleaning, what's best to block your EGR or not, or what size hole, you know, all the R&D has been done. You can see we'll get to that, but it's already been done in other videos. So this is kind of a waste of time doing this. It's not really. It's probably going to have better, more updated information and something that wasn't in one of the other videos. That's why I say watch all the videos and watch them till the end, because blah blah blah, like down you might think, but you know, and then later on we get into it and there's some really important information later on. So let's get on with it. So many years ago, obviously these companies, we'll blame the companies, the greedy companies that want to make profits. Some people call it profiteering. You know, they've got a lot of people conned that you need a catch can, and obviously catch cans cost hundreds of dollars plus installation. They can cause some damage to the vehicle, and they often get in the way of things, so quite inconvenient. I don't know that anyone else has, but I've tried to demonstrate how the crankcase ventilation, right, PCV or CV or whatever you want to call it, crankcase ventilation, check it out. Google PCV or search PCV on my channel, see what videos come up. Watch the EGR videos. I explain it in there a number of times, and I'll use different words, different terms, and a little bit different each time, but hopefully you'll get it. I try and do it as simple as possible, right? So crankcase ventilation is one system. That is not a problem. You don't need to change that. Yes, it puts the tiniest amount of oil in your intake, tiny amount, until you get to high Ks, maybe 300, 400, 500,000 Ks, you might have a bit more, but it's still a small amount of oil, because that oil is coming from your crankcase. That's your engine oil sump, right? That's where it's coming from, long story short in this one, right? So if your engine oil level isn't dropping in 10,000 K services, and I'm saying do it every 5, but a lot of people do it every 10, if it's not really dropping, then it can't be much oil, can it? Think about the quantity of air that's gone through that engine in 10,000 kilometers. And the small amount of oil that goes through there. Yes, it is tiny, virtually bone dry. When you pull that system apart and find some oil and some drips and stuff like that, that's just because it gets caught up at the joins there, right? If you pull your intercooler out and you sit it up, we've done a video demonstrating this. You can sit it up you're not going to find more than about 10 or 20 mil out of the whole intercooler, right? I think I think we measured it. Was it 10 or 20 or I don't? It wasn't much, you know. We really sat it there to get. We're talking about a massive, you know, intercooler where heaps of air goes through there. So what would be on the bottom layer is like, you know, 0.01 or 0.02 of a millimeter thick. It's just nothing because the thing's so long. And if you tip it to a certain point, you just get those few mil in one spot. It's like a bit of corrosion prevention. It's actually a good thing. You don't want to restrict that by having a filter in place that could block up and reduce the flow or stop the flow. You don't want that. You don't need that. Okay, the other system is EGR, exhaust gas recirculation. Think it through. Think in your mind, what are those words? Exhaust, gas, recirculation. Those three words say it in a nutshell. Doesn't sound like a good idea. Taking your exhaust, what comes out your tailpipe, rubbish, and putting it back through your engine, recirculation, that's what it is. So what happens then is that those bits of black soot that you normally see, you know, old trucks blowing smoke, and sometimes new ones, and sometimes newer cars, not Toyotas usually, other brands, but that's another story. All that black stuff, instead of going out the tailpipe, which isn't good either, by the way, but instead of going out the tailpipe, putting it back through your engine. Constant flow over and over again, sometimes up to 50% EGR flow. Even more than that in newer cars. The newer the cars, the worse they are, right? So at idle, an engine, the 1KD FTV, the one we specialise in, right? The one we work on mostly. You know, it's not the only thing we work on. Generally, only thing we work on mainly, but not the only one. You know, we have a bit of a tinker around with other things as well. But we're not going to tell you about those until we only tell you what we know is solid, rock solid, where we've got heaps of experience on it. We've seen tens, dozens, or thousands, or hundreds, or whatever, and we go, that's that. This information is that. It is a matter of fact. That is exactly correct. Some people don't like it. It's so a matter of fact. Well, it is a matter of fact. This is a matter of fact. This is what the facts are, okay? So, EGR, right, it might be good, but it's bad. There's other ways, you know, whether it's AdBlue or whatever, there's other systems around, and that's what should be being used in my opinion. I don't know why they don't use that instead of it. EGR is a bad idea. We've got DPFs on cars since 2015. Why aren't we taking the EGR from after the DPF where it's clean? You know what I mean? There's other simple changes that can solve this problem, so we don't even have to talk about this anymore. But somebody asked the questions, can you please tell us the pros and cons of blocking the EGR or the 7mm hole or whatever size hole? So let's spit it out. So many years ago, people were saying, that's what I was going on, I just had to, you know, there's always information. They believe you had to have a catch can. You couldn't put a plate, you can't put a plate, you get an engine light, because people were putting in plates like this, right? These were readily available on eBay, right? Block, it says block, it's a block plate. Okay, so, now remember, we're not talking about legalities. The legality is, you need to work that out. Every country, every state's different. Some of them are quite a grey area. It depends, you know. If you're shutting it off and putting a block plate, I can tell you, in Australia, that's going to be illegal, right? I don't know that anyone's checking, right? I'm not going to tell you whether they're checking or not, whether it's legal or not. Other than that is illegal. There's no grey area there. Now, when it comes to reducing the flow, in some states, it is a grey area. So it's up to you if you want to end up arguing that one out. But any authority in their right mind, if they understood and saw the damage and the blockage and the inefficiency of these engines from the caking of this stupid system, would go, yeah, that's a dumb idea. Something better than that's got to happen. Let's just, next subject, you know, you'd be stupid to enforce, you know, okay, perhaps this, because this is going all the way and there's other issues. Some people believe that it can affect the turbo. The turbo hasn't got a wastegate, right? Variable vane turbo. The way the boost pressure sort of goes backwards out through the EGR, and you know, it can, you know, not that I'm not saying it needs to, I'm not saying it will do damage. I don't know. Some people say it may damage the turbo over time. Now, plenty of people have shut off their EGRs, and some people have done this and put other fancy contraptions in place, and I wouldn't do it. The R&D's been done because people did it for us. They wanted to do it the hard way. They didn't want to just do it the easy, simple, proven way that works. And, you know, I can tell you that don't waste your time cutting this, modifying that, putting a hose there, whatever, because it all ends up in tears and they end up changing it back and they just end up with what works. Now, I'm not going to tell you what works. Now, so blank plate, people try that, doesn't work. Now you can see this one. No, I'll just tell you quickly, the hole doesn't block up. It gets a black staining, just like the inside of. Does the tailpipe of your vehicle block up? No, it doesn't block up. Does the catalytic converter block up? No, it doesn't block up. So why the heck would this block up? Because you don't understand. There's no oil anywhere near this hole. If you put it near the right place, we've got videos on where it goes. I'm not going to waste time on that. So this is a prototype. Where do you reckon the 7mm plate come from? I mean, who cares who takes the credit for the hole? Does it matter that I thought of that? Does that matter that I engineered in my mind that I reckon 7mm was the right size, and that was the first plate that ever went in a 1KD with a hole in it, and then that I mentioned it to Kaon and they started manufacturing a 7mm hole, and everybody else on eBay copied, and tens of thousands of people since then. I don't know. I probably wasn't the first person, you know what I mean? That probably isn't how it went down. It was probably someone else that says they taught me everything I know, but in actual fact they make many mistakes, and we help everybody with their mistakes, okay? Because we're the best. No, that's not it at all. We're just good at these because we work on these a lot, and we've got a good brain to be able to work out what's going on. So after the 7mm worked, okay, of course, you can't just have it on one vehicle and say that it works and that's it. You've got to test it on many vehicles, right? Now, of course, this would be for probably off-road use only, wouldn't it? That's what they all say, off-road use only, whatever. Like the tune, the chip, and the remap we recommend against. Sign this waiver here. If your engine blows up, it's not our responsibility. But it'll be okay, we've never had a problem. But sign here, please, before we do anything. Anyway. Right, so then what we did, hey, who wants to do a bit of R&D? And, we had plates with, I don't know, is that just a number I've written there, or do you reckon that's an actual size hole? Do you reckon that's real? Does that look like 5, 6, and 7 to you? Absolutely there's 5, 6, and 7, and there's 8, 9s, and 10s. I haven't got any anyway. So the point is, some people got away with a 5mm, but a lot of people got an engine light, P0400, not enough EGR flow. Good light to have. You want to be right on the edge as far as I'm concerned. From our calculations using our scan tool, using a plate with a 7mm hole, there's still 20% EGR flow at idle, which means, look, it only takes a small amount of inert gases to cool the combustion. So what's the pros and cons? The pros and cons are, it's all good. You want your engine running on cold, clean, filtered air. That's what the engine's designed to run on, okay? When we say cool combustion, let me put it in another word. Make a crap burn, make less power, put in hot, crappy air so that the engine doesn't run and do it burn as well. It's not to protect the engine. Longevity, this works. Some people seem to think that if you put a blank plate or a hole and then, but it's there to cool and all, mate, you've got a total misunderstanding of the system. That is so wrong. You've been brainwashed by someone. You don't understand the systems properly. You've read some crap somewhere on Facebook or watched someone's video. You don't know what's going on. Watch someone that understands things and knows what's going on, right? So, 5, unreliable we'll call it. Works for some people. You can try it if you like, but there's no need to because 7 works. 6, it's somewhere between 5 and 7, isn't it, right? And guess what? Bit more reliable than 5, but not as reliable as 7. You can try it if you like, but why wouldn't you just use what works? Now, 7 is the most reliable, and I've got to tell you, if you get a P0400 with 7, you've got another problem. There's something in your EGR system. The car's getting old. The flaps are working a bit slower. There's a slight blockage somewhere. So one of your sensors is dirty. You've got a dirty air filter. Or, I don't know. There's a number of things. We've got videos on that. Search on our channel, P0400. Somebody else asked me, where do I get a manual? Well, you know what? You don't need a manual because the manual hasn't got all the right information. They wrote that before the engines were on the road. We see what's happened on the road for 15, 20 years now, and we're telling you that in all these videos. This is the encyclopedia, this is the workshop manual. If it's not in there, you don't need to know it. If you've got a question, you put it in the comments, and we do what we're doing now and answer the question. So pros and cons, there isn't, it's just all good, okay? Unless it's illegal, okay? So if you go and put a hole or whatever, and in your state it works out to be illegal, and they're checking, you could end up with a big fine, but I don't know what it is, whatever. So of course you wouldn't do that unless you're very confident that you're just slightly modifying. This is not a blank plate here. That's a blank plate, illegal. This is a flow reduction device, okay? So these are the stages. People had that. Then this got tried out successfully. Then these sorts of sizes got tried out, and that was it. And we know 7mm is the king, and it keeps the EGR clean. The valve stays alloy and coil. If someone says it doesn't work and look at this, they've done something wrong, mate. Did I say put a catch can with it? No, that doesn't work. Well, sometimes it might. Depends on luck. Do you want luck, or do you want what works? This is not luck. This works, okay? Bada bing. Now, this is for the 1G DFTV, right? Did I engineer this? Again, of course not. But what happened in 2015 is I said to people, stick with the last of the best. Wait, it's a new engine. Wait and see. Let's get through the DPF problems and the other problems they have, right? All other manufacturers were having problems with DPFs for a decade. Then, of course, Toyota are going to have problems because it's not a problem with the DPF or the software. It's a stupid system that's forced upon manufacturers, and it's hard to get it right, mainly probably because of the driving habits of people. And it doesn't matter if you do 90% highway, and even now with the latest software and everything, if you're not doing a good drive at the time it does the burn, and the odds are you might not be for the way most people drive their vehicles, you could end up, you know, so there's some variable issues there. There is some other issues as well, but at the end of the day, most DPF problems over the last few decades, not talking about just Toyota, are caused by the way the vehicles are used. So you could call it software, because the software needs to be adjusted to somehow do burns and that to suit the crappy driving where it should be highway driving. Anyway, in the 1G FTV, somebody said, hey, what do I do? What do I do? And I said, well, yeah, that's a good question, because it's got higher emission, it's got to meet higher emission standards. Therefore means more EGR, not good, right? So he made up his plate or something, right? Similar to this. And he put a hole and he started at 7mm. And I'm not going to name anyone, but he started at 7mm. He said, engine light, I'm drilling it out to 8. So he drilled it out to 8, right? Bada bing, drilled it out to 8, and engine light. So he's doing the R&D for us, right? Bang, drilling it out to 9, and engine light. Drilling out to 10, drilling out to 11. Guess where he got to? He got to 13, right? He got to 13, mate. It went for ages. Never heard from him again on 13. No news is good news, right? So I'm talking to Kaon and say, hey, have you used a plate for that, whatever? And they've been doing a bit of their own R&D. And guess what they found? And they found that 13 was the right size as well. Now, 13 could be a bit like a 6 maybe, because there has been, now we're not, but there has been one person I know of, but then, you know, they have other modifications. So when you start adding other mods and exhausts and things with this, it changes the engineering, right? So there has been, let's just say a few out of, I don't know if it's hundreds or what. I don't sell the plates, you know, I don't care, whatever. But I know, everybody I know has got, you know, lots of people have got these in, no problem, right? So that's Kaon, there you go. There's a sticker, kaon.com.au. You know, they sell stuff on eBay on their website. Just go on their website, save them the eBay fees. Same as when you book accommodation. Don't go on Airbnb, booking.com and all that. Go direct. Same as when you get takeaway. Don't go Uber Eats and menu log. You know, you just throw on 30, you're just ripping off the people selling the stuff because they've got to pay all these fees and crap. Go direct, guys. Small money, 10 bucks, 20 bucks, 30 bucks. Pay cash, mate. Let them get some money, mate, instead of get ripped off by these big companies taking mass. Do you know that about 35% goes to them, and then you pay your delivery on top? Stop being lazy. Get on the push bike and go and pick up the bloody takeaway. It's bad enough that you're getting it anyway. Anyway, hopefully that answers the question. This one was a bit of a longer one, but it's full of information, right? It is. And if someone doesn't like it, unsubscribe. Please unsubscribe if you don't like it. Stop complaining and watching videos if you don't like it. Now, if you're still here and you subscribe, please go give us a thumbs up, the like button, you know, press the like and the thumbs up, right? And for those people that are listening, here it is, there's the phone number. Now I'm going to explain to you again, because some people have missed the messages. I've got a lot of videos that have got the phone number in there. So if you can't find the number, it means you're not going and watching all the videos. Just because you haven't seen it and it's a year old doesn't mean it's of no use to you. It's information you need. Your encyclopedia starts at the start. You know, when you start reading, I don't know, if you're going to read, what are you going to read? You're going to read the Bible. Okay, so you've discovered your religion and you're reading the Bible. You're starting 3/4 of the way through the book or halfway through the book. No, you go to the start. Okay, so you're going to learn the phonetic alphabet, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Fox. You're going to start learning at A, or are you going to start at M? Mike, November, but don't worry about A. Do you get me, right? You've got to go back, guys. Anyway, if you haven't already, please subscribe on both these channels. Really important that you're with us on the information here. As I said, please press that like button in the comments. Let us know if you like. Look, there's going to be a lot of comments either way, but if you can, let us know if you've got any of these plates in and if you've had any issues and what the solution you found was. And there's going to be a few people, like I said, it's not the plate, because the plate's in thousands of other vehicles. This one, it's the one we're more interested in and we're not so sure about, because they're a newer vehicle. Not as many people have got them in there, and I don't bang on about them as much because we don't work on them much. Maybe the odd. I'm not saying too much, right? We're going to do more before we talk about them, right? Again, like I said, it's got to be clean, factual information. We know this is that. If you've only seen a few, they're going to come out and start telling you something. We're not going to be wrong, okay? We're not going to be wrong, because then you go, oh, he told us that and he's wrong. So it's all good. Pros and cons, it's all good. I hope you like the talk. I'm out of here. Bada bing, bada boom. Don't forget, if you need parts, if you want to get your injector kit for your 1KD, if you want to get your suspension kit, Dobinson suspension kit, if you want to get your BFE kit or your front wheel bearings, Mondays is my parts day. Please, guys, try and make it Mondays. If you can, Monday morning, Melbourne time, from 8 a.m. is okay for it. It's text, see that? Text only. The phone doesn't ring, guys. It doesn't ring. I'm too busy, right? I'm doing everything I can do to service as many people as I can in the world. I can service the world with information. I can't service the world with parts, sorry. It's just me. Got a few helpers here and there, not much really. It's mainly all me, right? I do the videos. I do the inquiries. I obtain the parts. I pack the parts. I work on the cars. Got some assistants helping on with stuff on some cars. I told you I don't do EGR cleans anymore. People want things done still, so that's the option. So we've got people for that, so we can help you with that. Just send the text message, guys. If it's parts, Monday, please. If you got other questions, please use all these Facebook groups. Check them out, right? Or put your question in the comments on these channels. I keep it in mind, like right now I'm answering the question. His question was, what's the pros and cons? That's the long answer, okay? It's giving you all the information so you can decide, right? That's all I'm going to say, right? Anyway, note, you might want to talk to your lawyer first to see if it's legal or not and make a decision from there so you don't end up with a fine. I don't recommend for or against any of these modifications. I just tell you what I see in vehicles and what works, and that is... Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.